So I got a question this morning from someone who asked me, how's the best way to be patient while waiting for your first gig as a mobile DJ? And the second part of the question was, how do I convince my wife I'm not wasting my time? Well, the question was kind of vague. I had to dig a little deeper to find out what was going on with this individual. Turns out he's trying to go full-time. He's not working. His wife isn't happy about this, and he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't want to give up on what he does. This is his passion, but it's just not happening for him right now. So one thing I don't want to do is discourage anybody. The other thing I don't want to do is BS anybody, so I got to be real with you here. Let's talk about what really goes into this. Let's talk about aptitude first. There are two types of people who should be a mobile DJ, I think. I mean, if you're considering doing this, here are the two attributes that you should have. One of the two. You should either have great business savvy or talent. Now, I'm not a great business person. I've kind of relied on my talent through my career. If I would have been a better business person, I'd be further along than I am. But at least I had that. Some people aren't great DJs, but they're really good at business. So they make a go of it, and they fake it until they make it. This happens a lot. The other thing that happens sometimes is you'll see people on social media talking a big game, how they started this DJ company, they've got all this equipment, they've got all these gigs, all these wonderful things are happening for them. But if you look a little deeper, something's going on here. They're being financed by someone, usually mom and dad, could be grandma and grandpa, could be an uncle, could be a spouse, it doesn't matter. They're not getting the rates that they should be getting. If you look at their business plan, it doesn't make any sense. You look at the equipment costs versus what they're charging for these events, and the math just doesn't add up. And some of them aren't even serious about this. They're doing it for now. They're doing it as a teenager, or they're just doing it until they decide to do something else because they have great parents who are indulgent and finance this stuff. That happens. So don't let those people fool you. The reality of it is there are guys out there who have been DJing for many, many, many years, and they're not full-time. It hasn't happened for them. They're doing something else. They're working a full-time day job. Or sometimes they're out there on the hustle, kind of like the Hollywood actor. Think about Harrison Ford, for example. He was in the movie American Graffiti. And then he didn't get any more acting jobs. So he went to work as a carpenter. And he was a carpenter when he got the gig as Han Solo for Star Wars. So he didn't just sit around and wait for people to throw movie roles at him. He got to work. He had to feed himself. He stayed hungry. You hear about that all the time. I was a waitress. I was a dishwasher. I was a bartender. I was a cab driver. You have to have some kind of gig to get you by if you don't have mommy and daddy financing you until things start happening for you. And even when things start happening, you may still have to hang on to that day job. It's just the way it is. Now, what I did was I worked at gigs that I felt would work well with what I was into. For instance, I worked at a used CD store for a while. I had been a roller skate rink DJ, then I was doing mobiles for weddings, college parties, birthday parties, anniversaries, you name it, for several different companies. Then I started doing clubs, and I still wasn't like where I wanted to be, so I got this gig. They didn't pay a lot, but I got this gig at this used CD store, which was great because I was able to grab music cheap. They'd bring stuff in. If the store didn't need it, I could buy it for pennies on the dollar and build a really nice music collection. That's what I did, and it worked for me. Now, some people might need to do something else, but that's what worked for me. And then 10 years after I started DJing is when I started my own company, and I went full-time immediately because I could. I'd paid my dues, and people were ready to hire me. People were ready to use me as a subcontractor. I was established. But that's not going to work for everybody. You got to hustle and pay your dues. You got to stay hungry. Well, what about a stack of brand new equipment? It's not enough. You got to do one of those three things. And believe me, most people don't have someone bankrolling them. A lot of people don't have the business sense, so you got to have the talent. Something's got to happen for you. You've got to fit into this equation somewhere to make a go of this. And there's nothing wrong with being part-time. There's nothing wrong with having a day gig and going out and gigging on the weekends. That's what most people do. So anyway, that's my video for today. I hope it helps somebody. If you have any questions, comments, answers, if you agree or disagree with me, whatever the case might be, write down here in the comment section. We'll see you soon. Practice and enjoy.